Oh, my Biddy. Sorry, I forgot to shut that door. And I forgot my drink. So I'll probably have to get off of here at some point and go grab that. How are you all today? Clearly, I'm not here. The husband finally, his fever finally broke. He's feeling a little better, so he went to work this afternoon. Yay, good for him. It is right now snowing. Not a lot. I call it air snow because you never really see it touch the ground and it doesn't accumulate at all. It's like the snow we get in June. Did it ever snowed where you're at in June? It snowed in Michigan in June. I remember it. I was just a little kid, but I remember it. Oh, what else? I got nothing. I did not because my husband went into work late, even though he's feeling better. He did go in late. So I didn't get any work done this morning. So no Seven Little Johnston's today. Hopefully tomorrow. I'll try and work on the housewives. Housewives stuff. Sister wives. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. Um we're working on the dang sister wives. Hopefully a little bit. I got other projects going too, so it's kind of difficult for me to get to that right now. Um, Anybody else got anything? Anyone? 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 In the chat. We have the chat for a reason. You can put in the comments later if you're watching later. It's fine too. I get emails. It's fine. All right. So I guess we'll get right into it today because I got no excitement at all. This girl on Reddit told me to get a job today. Or actually, she told me to get a side gig, so I think she thinks I have a job. It's like, this is my side gig, chickie. Go bounce it off your butt. I don't know why. I just made it up because I'm a goof, and that's okay. It's okay to be a goof. Mm. So first we have traumatized them back, and it says in capital letters and in quotes, no exceptions. And then it says, okay, what about my infant sister? And it's clever comeback. Now I'm an agnostic, but growing up, my family was Christian, so by extension, I was Christian, specifically Baptist Christian. If you know anything about Baptist Christians, which she spells incorrectly, she spells it with two B's instead of a B and a P. You know that they have a strict belief that everything in the Bible says exactly what is written, despite the Bible being translated so many times and being centuries old. Yeah, that's a crazy thing that some people believe. It's literally insane. So one Sunday when I was little, we had a youth group meeting. Pastor spent about an hour going over the Bible verses that say, if you don't find Jesus, even if you don't ever have the opportunity to do so, you will go to hell. Oh, I guess my church was a little better than that. They said if you didn't hear 'em, they would give you an exception. You didn't have to go to hell. Hell is not biblical, by the way. It's not in there. No exceptions. I guess this was to push the idea of spreading the word of God to everyone we meet. Well, a little undiagnosed autistic me, who had only recently found out I had a twin sister that died at only 2 months and was still processing the loss, raised my hand. When called to, she'll go to, she went to hell in the most childlike, innocent voice. The pastor froze like he didn't expect a child to die, which happens all the time, unfortunately, and never had an opportunity to meet Jesus. He stammered and stuttered before dodging the question, because his opinions were tell a group of children that he had been wrong for the past hour, tell these young, impressionable minds that God sends babies to hell. It was a lose lose situation for him. My church also said that children did not go to hell, but they couldn't define children, and it keeps getting younger and younger. I don't say this often, but growing up an undiagnosed autistic child made me an accidental savage. Like, I would have, if I felt like I could have gotten away with it. I would have asked questions like that, but I knew it would not go well for me. So I didn't ask questions. I just made up my own mind in my own head. uh 32:07 a.m. No, sorry, 2:37 a.m. That makes more sense. I do not have dyslexia, I promise. I just read too fast for my own good sometimes. The Baptist ministers I knew growing up would have said quite flatly yes, and then blamed the parents for not baptizing the child baby early enough. Dang. Dang. What that little kid do to you, dude? My gosh. Known you says my mom's church at least said a child was automatically eligible for heaven until death, until the age of accountability. That's what mine did. I think they used that as a fix it brush, but it made more sense to my child mind. That a person with brain damage, cognitive issues, medical reasons for being childlike as an adult meant they maintained the innocence. That kids up to the mental age of, if I remember right, 12 were safe from the fires, but after that point, you are able to decide to be good or not. Not sure if that was much better, but Dark Meow answers, I grew up in Southern Baptist Convention Church and they taught about the age of accountability as well. Suicides, though, straight to hell. A school friend's dad committed suicide our senior year and they almost didn't let the funeral happen at the church. Wow. A member of the church also called her and spammed her social media saying her dad was going to hell and it was all her fault. Why her fault? She had finally told the school counselor about how he had been molesting her for about a decade, and the next day he killed himself. Man, yes. That's why I don't church. Stuff like that. Exactly stuff like that. Knowing you answers, see, this is one of the reasons I hate religion. Don't get me wrong. Faith is needed. No, it's not. But you take faith and make it a religion with sections. Nothing matches. Everyone fights. Seriously, morals make the parentheses person. Dark Meow answers, oh, that whole church was dirty to the foundation. The deacons in the 90s ran a swingers ring. The pastor's having affair. Deacon's daughter's having affairs with minors. A wild mess. Holy cow. Yeah, see, the things that go on behind closed doors. Prairie Home Girl says, I love this. Fellow former Baptist here. When I was 12 or so, a church member's young niece or nephew was killed in a car crash, and our pastor said from the pulpit that it was a shame the child was above the age of reasoning, so they would go to hell. The dead child was 6 or 7 years old. Several families with young children left our church that day and never came back. We were told they must have been non-believers. Here's the thing about the Bible and this age of accountability stuff. They say it's 12 for some reason, but they let 7 and 8 year olds and whoever, I don't even know how low it is now, going to church in eons, um, get baptized because they're supposedly at the age of accountability. But in the Bible, if you read it, um, when God sent the Israelites into the wilderness, he said the age of accountability is 21. It's in the Bible. That's the age of accountability is 21. Why is that? Probably because your brain isn't functional until age 30 anyway. So really it should be 30. Soja Bursch says it's the second top rated comment, and he said, they say, I think it's a he, but I'm not sure. My uncle told me I'm only chronically ill and disabled because I'm a sinner and it's God punishing me, so I should stop sinning before I die as a punishment and go to hell. So he's already being punished. I'm confused. So I knew I shouldn't ask things like this because there was basically a blanket ban on even mentioning her name. But I was pissed enough to ignore the social rules I'd learned. I asked him what horrible things his 4-year-old daughter had done for God to think it inappropriate to give her cancer and let her horribly suffer for 5 years before she died from it. He never said anything about illness or disability being a punishment with me ever again. I don't know if he said it when I couldn't hear it, but he learned his lesson not to say it where I could hear it. Good on you. Good on you, Soja. He wants popsicles and ice cream for his throat. His throat should not be hurting anymore. He may have strep, I'm not sure. uh, Something I cannot pronounce because it's a bunch of consonants all in a row says, I'm from a Catholic country, Austria, and my mom's aunt's baby died right after birth. This was in the 70s. She was not allowed to bury that child that was born alive and died in her arms because they didn't have time for a baptism, and thus it was in hell now. A couple of years ago, she added his name to the family gravestone because they changed the rules. It's the reason why my grandparents and mom and uncle swore off church and stopped being members. All right, next we have what should I do? And it is an update. So I guess we should go to the original what should I do? See if we All right. My 43 male friends, 45 male daughter, 18 or 19 female, keeps trying to it on with me, and I don't know whether to tell him or keep ignoring it. Past year or so, she started messaging me from privately on Facebook and Instagram. I never posted on either, just use them to watch videos of camper vans and woodworking. At first, it was innocent enough, just asking me to look at a friend's car for her and what she should get her dad for his birthday, etc. One night, her and her friends went out clubbing and went to somebody's house party, and it was a bit more than she could deal with. We may have already read this, but I'll read it again anyway. She saw I was online on Facebook and messaged saying she doesn't dare tell her dad where she is and can I come get them. I said yes and set off, but when I got there, she came out with her friends and said it was okay now. The people causing trouble had gone. I stayed talking to her and friend for 10 minutes to make sure and then left, but I told her I'll stay up. If she changes her mind, ring me. I went home and made a cup of tea and she messaged me. It was a revealing picture of her and her friend I'd just spoken to. I messaged her back and said I don't appreciate that. She apologized and said she got the wrong person. I ignored it and then didn't hear from her for a couple of weeks until another Saturday night when she sent another photo and said this was meant for you. I ignored it. She replied the next morning saying it was a drunken dare and she's sorry. This started a pattern where it seemed whenever she was drunk she would send pictures and then the next day she would apologize. That was until last summer when her parents threw a barbecue. I went upstairs to use the toilet, and when I came out, she was on the landing and said she'd closed the baby gate at the bottom of the stairs, so we'd hear if someone opened it. I said no and went to move past her, but she put her hands on the wall and said she's not letting me past. Eventually she did, but she found it funny, and then she's ramped up the messages. It's not just when she's drunk and offering sexual acts for lifts and fixing cars. The other week, she even turned up at my house, and I told her I'm going to speak with her dad. And she said, I can't now. It's gone too long. She's right. I don't know what to do. I never reply anymore, but she keeps on sending them. And if it's about fixing her car, she'll get her dad to ask me, so I can't say no. Before anyone suggests I don't want to sleep with her, I've known her since she was born. So the update. Um, Hi everyone, thank you for your advice and kind words on my original post. I really appreciate it. Just to clear things up, first is why I don't block her. I'll paste a comment I made. Things were The thing is we were close. I thought of her as a niece. I've been to every birthday party of hers since she was born. Bought her first bike. I gave her boxing lessons when she was getting bullied at school. I took her to the cinema to see Frozen. I took her to prom on my motorbike. I went with her to buy her first car, and I've done all the maintenance on it since. I'm heartbroken it's come to this. She isn't just some random kid I could block and forget. Secondly, people ask why I picked her up and didn't immediately tell her parents. And I'll copy another comment I made. I've also always said to her and my niece and nephews, if you're ever scared or in a dangerous situation and you don't dare tell your parents, ring me and I'll come and I'll keep your secret once. I was younger and I got into a club when I was 15 and ended up being drugged and taken back to a house. And even when I came around, I didn't dare ring my parents just in case I got in trouble for clubbing and things got a lot worse. And then things got a lot worse. I wanted her to know if she was in danger or scared, she could rely on me. Something terrible happened to me because I was too scared of being in trouble. And this is why you should have a no punishment if you're in trouble rule, if you feel scared rule. I would never punish my kids if they called me and said, I did something dumb, I need help. Or if the cops call at 3 a.m. and say you need help. Um, On to the update. I rang her dad yesterday and asked if I could see him and his wife. I got there and I didn't beat around the bush. I just said that for nearly a year, Emily has been trying it on with me. It's get it on. I don't know why he says it that way. It's weird. And sending me inappropriate messages and pictures. And I haven't screenshots of every message, but I deleted the pictures. There are plenty of messages from her. They're referencing the pictures. I showed them everything, and the dad stopped reading after a couple of messages, but the mom read them all and just said, it's something young women do, and we're both adults, so it's up to us what we do. And I said, I don't want to do anything. I want her to stop harassing me. The mom just completely brushed it off and says, not harassment, it's just a young woman in heat. Made her sound like a dog. And she was the same at that age. Well, she shouldn't be, because that's not right. We sat and talked about it for a bit, and I told him why I didn't say anything, and the dad said she was never going to give in like her mom. Then they just said they'll talk to her, but the mom told me to relax and not take it so seriously. The girl is accosting him in hallways, ma'am. You need to tell your daughter to back off. No is no. Same goes for all boys. No is no. Girls, no is no. Someone tells you no, leave them alone. If they change their mind, they'll let you know. My friend walked out to the car with me and said he talked to his daughter when she's home and he's sorry and now he knows why I've been blowing him off about doing the brakes on our car. I felt feeling I left feeling relieved they knew, but a bit pissed off with the mom's reaction. Later on last night, my friend messaged me because he wanted to check her phone and see if there were other men, but the wife says no, she's 13, she's 19, they have no right, which is true. That's also true. Emily did message me to apologize last night, but then says she spoke to her mom and the offer is always there if I want it. It doesn't seem like anything has been achieved really. At least it's not a secret anymore. Me without my towel is a top rated comment. And they say, what an unsatisfying update. I know, hope she finds someone her age and leaves you alone. I think you handled it as best you could. I'm sorry this is such an awkward situation for me. I know if it were me, it would tarnish my relationship with the girl. And OP says it has done. I can't see her the same again. I was watching videos this morning of when I took her fishing when she was about 10 or 11, and I'll be honest, I cried my eyes out. It was so sad. That's heartbreaking. Kid could have had a good uncle and she ruined it. Good, well, green flags for this guy, though. Total green flags for this guy. He knows what's appropriate and what's inappropriate. Next, we have malicious compliance, and it is entitled Boss Who Insisted on Email Read Receipts. A few years back, I had a manager that insisted on micromanaging his supervisors and sent numerous emails every day and insisted on a read receipt for each one. This was back in the days where BlackBerry phones were the norm, and I knew he got the message through the read receipt. I also figured out that I could read the emails without opening them. I used to save up to 100 or so emails for him and would wait until I knew he was at work, at a work event, or at home and would click mark all as read on 100 emails at a time. This resulted in the manager getting 100 emails through at the same time on his BlackBerry phone, along with 100 notifications. After repeating this several times, he finally dropped the read receipt, and it felt like a minor battle had been won against him. Funny username says, I used to do something similar with a coworker. I figured out how to read the emails without marking them as read. Then I'd delete them. The system at the time would send a message to the effect of deleted without reading. This was a long time ago, so he'd always see this message from me. I'd also usually undelete them and then reply a few days later just to mess with him more. Deverell says repeats the undelete them and reply part and says, "I love this bit." Tasty Switch also uh, quoted that line and said, and just says, r/found Satan. We know that's a Reddit. Dealer alarm said, at my old job, we had a customer that would require red receipts. I would open them as fast as possible and then ignore her email and respond to it in the order of which I received, sometimes the next business day. Random ABC states or answers. I had a job where I actually started tracking everything that I was doing by the half hour increment on our little calendar that we got from work that had lines for every half hour or a week. So our planner. My supervisor constantly giving me ad hoc requests. This, in conjunction with regular duties, made it nearly impossible to work on the projects list. So we all had a long meeting on Wednesday afternoon where she put everything in order of how she wanted me to work on the projects list. She also informed me that under no circumstances am I to go out of that order. Thursday morning around 9 a.m., she was asking me for some information about something that was number 9 on the projects list, and I responded to her, "This is number 9 on the projects list. Do you want it to move it to number 1?" And she said, "No, and never bother me about it. Get that again." I left shortly after anyway. Yeah, when you write things down, it's good. All right, now we have Evil Buildings, and this is entitled This Palantir Office in Palo Alto. Looks like it's been repurposed from its original. I don't know what's evil about it. Looks fine to me. Used to be talent something. Talent use? Talent fuse? I don't know. I don't know. That looks pretty normal to me. I don't get it. um, oh, the fact that Peter Thiel and the Lord of the Rings read the Lord of the Rings and found the Palantir, which J.A.R. Tolkien clearly conceptualized as a tyrannical device for manipulation and control, and decided, yep, I need to name a surveillance company after that. Tells you everything you need to know about that guy. uh, lore, I don't know anything about. I mean, I know the Lord of the Rings, but I don't know much about Peter Thiel. I just know he's probably not a good guy. Automatic accident says, I expected something much nicer. Leopold Darkworth. I kind of like that. That's kind of cute. I get that Peter Thiel loves Lord of the Rings, but isn't it a little on the nose to have a company devoted to mass surveillance after a fictional device designed to covertly spy on people? In Hydrodal says that was exactly why I named it that. Heathman says, as Tim Dillon likes to say, this is how stupid we think they are. We're practically dogs in their eyes, except they exploit us for labor. It's true. That's what makes it easy. Is Peter Thiel makes it easy, makes it evil, not the building itself. AITAH, entitled AITAH for choosing my wife over my mom. I, 32 male, have been married to my wife, 33 female, for 5 years. I lost my dad when I was 16. I'm an only child. Oh, that's rough. That's why we don't have only children, people. Life was rough after he passed, but my mom is one of the strongest women I know. I was shattered and she held everything together. I love her more than anything. I met my wife in first year in college. We basically grew up together. She's my world right now, and the three of us live together in our apartment. My mother's getting older and needs care, and I feel lucky that I have the two most important women under one roof. Well, aren't you sweet? How does your wife feel about that? Both my wife and I have good careers. We are ambitious, doing well, and yes, we don't have a child. That's a conscious decision. I'm okay either way. I love kids and would like to have one someday, but my wife doesn't want one right now. Maybe not ever. We've had long conversations about it. I've never forced her. It's her body. She's at the peak of her career and she says she doesn't feel ready for motherhood and doesn't know if she ever will. I respect that. And that's fine. That is fine. The issue is my mom desperately wants a grandchild. Well, too bad for grandma. She should have had more kids. For the past year, she's been emotionally pushing subtle comments like, "You'll understand when you have your own. Don't wait too long. Women regret it later." I keep brushing it off and hoping it would fade. 2 days ago, we had guests over who brought their kids. After they left, my mom looked at my wife and said, "You can't even give me a grandchild? Isn't that what women are meant to do?" No! Oh, oh, no. Some people are not meant to have kids. Some people that have kids shouldn't have them. Oh, your biological clock is already expiring. How old is she? She's 33. I had kids older than 33. It doesn't mean you're expiring. Talk to me when you're 53, and then we might have a conversation about that. And I don't know why I'm playing with my hair today. I still have my other hand. Um, my wife even said it isn't my decision whether I want to have a child. It turned into a heated argument. I stepped in. I told my mom, "Please start forcing us. It's her decision. Whatever she decides is final. You don't get to talk to her like that." Where's my green flag for this man? Green flag for this man. He loves his mom to death. You can tell. He takes care of her. He appreciates her, but he still knows when she needs to back off. Good guy. I won't lie, my tone was harsh. Oh, okay, that's good. I've never raised my voice at my mom before, ever. I've always been respectful, but this time I snapped. I've been ignoring these comments for a year, and hearing her question my wife's worth as a woman just broke something in me. Now my mom hasn't spoken to me in 2 days. Oh well, wham wham for her. She shouldn't have spoken to your wife that way. She shouldn't be living in your house if she's going to speak to somebody that way. The house feels tense. I feel guilty for shouting at the woman who sacrificed everything for me. You don't owe her anything. She's your mom. If anything, she owes you. But I also feel like I haven't stepped. If I hadn't stepped in, I would have failed my wife again. My mom hasn't been eating well and mentions that she wants to move out. AITAH for losing my temper and shouting at my old mom like this. You don't say how old your mom is, so and you're only 32. How old can your mom possibly be? Dimarag says NTA, but instead of waiting and putting the weight on your wife, I would talk as a team. Your mom may think that you want a baby, but are okay with what your wife says, making her the villain. She's not an incubator. She's my wife. We're both okay without having children. Panda Zini says this should be higher up. It's the top comment, sir. That might be a girl. I don't know. Did you get the right? You did the right thing defending your wife, although too late. But where you really went wrong was when you put it all on your wife's decision. It's your joint decision. You should have said it's our decision when whether not to have kids. You see the difference? Spooky Spaghetti says, "Oh, I love kids and I would love to have them someday." Or he wants kids and just won't admit how his wife is to his wife how actually important it is. Or he's open to kids and is putting it on his wife because it's her body and she's going to have to be the one to carry him, and she don't want to. Little Bear is the second top rated comment, and it says, "NTA, your wife isn't an incubator. Your mom crossed the line. Wanting kids is fine. Shaming a woman for not providing them isn't." Exactly. And Leo says, answers NTA, mom shouldn't even be hinting about grandkids. Not her choice, not her business. She lived her life with her choices. You and your wife get to do the same. Exactly. Mom needs to get some interest in activities to occupy her time. Right now, she's dwelling on, in my opinion, is a mistake having her live with you, and you and your wife are living your lives right in her face 24/7. Get her own place near you. Get her a pet, a puppy or a kitten to take care of. Encourage her to get involved in community service. Volunteering at a shelter, human or animal, would give her a place to use her grandmother instincts without harassing you and your wife. Gig Joe says, it's so annoying and so telling that it's always about what they want. OP says she wants to relive his childhood through his kids. Like she does like she wants she doesn't care about what OP, his wife, or even the kids want. I bet you if the kid turns out different than what she expects, she will be upset. Yeah, that's true too. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not into Lego and I don't want anything to do with it. Said no one ever or else. But honestly, I my daughter played basketball for 6 years. You didn't hear me complaining about it, even though it was not my bag. Basketball, not my bag, but I went to every game I could, which is mostly almost every game. I encouraged her and did what I felt I should do about it. Picked her up from every practice, all of that stuff. My grandpa was a huge basketball fan, so but I'm not in sports balls. Next, we have neighbors from hell. Well, it happened. The neighbors called the cops on us. Ooh, that's not good. I live with my boyfriend on the top floor of a duplex. The neighbors below us are a middle-aged man and his mom that we have never seen. They're home 24/7, and yes, we have hardwood floors, unfortunately, with only the guest room being carpeted. He's been complaining about noise to the landlord since we moved in. I think my boyfriend is heavy-footed. He's 6'4" and flat-footed, so sometimes he doesn't realize how hard he steps. But we have made adjustments and are much more cognizant. It doesn't matter how tall you are or what you weigh. Some people sound like elephants when they walk around the house, even when they're 98 pounds. And I know, and she's probably here. She probably knows exactly what I'm talking about. Claim we were slamming doors and dresser drawers and walking, dropping things loudly. We are clumsy and drop our phones or something once in a while, and we have been trying to be more aware of making noise. We bought slippers for the house and we put down cushier rugs, etc. But nothing is working, I guess. We work 5 days a week. I'm gone from 8 to 5. My boyfriend works 4 10-hour shifts, 8 to 6:30. We do our cleaning on weekends during the day. He's complained about that before, unfortunately. We don't blast music or the TV. We don't throw parties. Nobody ever comes over. We don't have kids. We sit most of the day if we are home and we just live our lives. Our landlord is completely on our side when we explain what's going on, so that helps. The last noise complaint, he threatened to call the police if any noise was made after 10 p.m. Sir, you live in an apartment. Get a house. If you can't stand the noise, get a house. That's why I don't live in an apartment, or if I did, I'd live on the top floor. Last night, my boyfriend wakes up at 4 a.m. to go to the bathroom and get a drink of water. I asked him to open the window since he accidentally burned chicken stock earlier in the evening and the smell was still lingering. He gets back in bed, and then the police show up a couple of minutes later saying the neighbors called because they heard arguing. We spoke in low to moderate volume. There was absolutely no arguing happening. You need to start filming yourself. I don't know what to do with eggshells, and I hate that. Keep feeling like I constantly have to defend us. I sent the landlord a text just to get ahead because I have anxiety about what he's trying to get us evicted or something. I told her no action needed to be taken yet. I just wanted to put it in writing in case anything escalated. I am over it. Oh, and there's an update. Let's check and see if the update. This was. I at? Okay, good. We don't have the update on our list, so that's awesome. So I can read it now. So from the original, from Caricadur, I think you need to get an indoor security camera. Agreed. That way, the next time the police come, you can show them how little noise we're actually making so they can 100% confirm the neighbors are being ridiculous. Hopefully, the police can eventually find the neighbors for filing false police reports or something to that effect. Stiletto Panda says once the cops get called enough for no reason for the same people, the neighbors can be hit with harassment charges. I definitely second an indoor camera though. Powerful Jaw says, but it's he said, she said if they don't have video evidence. Yeah, he just said he seconds the indoor camera, goofus. Stiletto Panda says I did say an indoor camera. I second an indoor camera. I have neighbors who this happened to. The cops called them on multiple times with no obvious disturbance. Eventually, the people who got calling got in trouble. It becomes a pattern, he said. Not a he said, she said. I've also read posts on here with similar experiences, so I know how my neighbors aren't an exception. And she, they also add, also, happy cake day. Old lurker says, and remember no walking around naked, etc. after the cameras are installed. Darn. Well, there goes my indoor cameras. Uh, New Time Traveler says, what did the cops do? And OP says, they said the neighbors called and reported that they heard arguing. My boyfriend said, oh, no, and looked confused. And they said, understandable, have a good day and left. Cops know it's real. All right. Um, Feels like we're being targeted. And this is from 9 days ago, so that's why it wasn't on there. It's been about 2 weeks later from my original post. My landlord didn't say much about the situation, just said, wow, and they hate that we're going through something like this, and proceeded to say there's nothing much they can do, which I understand. I just wanted their awareness to put on record, and they said they hadn't received a noise complaint in a while. So yesterday afternoon after we left Target, we noted something was not right with the car's tires. We inspected and turns out there is a caltrops embedded in 3 of the tires. We found the 4th caltrop after our car was towed back to the house. So definitely this feels like a malicious attack, so we filed a police report. No, I'm not saying it was the neighbors, but if it were to be someone, it would be him. We are pissed and landlords are aware we're getting cameras. I just can't believe it. Ugh. Valley Oak Paper says, I hope you're getting dash cams for your car with parking mode too. Comfortable Muffin answers, if this is your neighborhood, they're not just annoying, they're dangerous. Keep every single receipt, video, and convo on file. Yes, exactly. Next top comment is from Thunderflash, and they say, "Good job, keeping everything documented and making a police report. Keep it up." As another commenter said, you get cameras. Have one on your front door to see who comes and goes, and one pointed at your car. They probably won't just stop at one instance of the caltrops. I don't know what a caltrop is. I hate when I don't know what things are, so I have to look it up. Okay, it's a spiked metal device thrown into the ground to impede wheeled vehicles or formerly cavalry horses. Oh, they did that to horses? It's also a creeping plant with woody carpels that typically have hard spines to resemble military caltrops. Um, oh, it's one of these things. I have seen these before. This is the Wikipedia page. Oh, good. All right. I have a picture. So that's what they're talking about. They put those probably right behind the tires or something. I couldn't quite see it. Nice people. Lovely people. They probably won't just stop at one instance of caltrops, so just do a quick around, make sure you don't see any fluids or other things under or around your car when you leave. Give your brakes a big stomp when and where it's safe to make sure they aren't tampered with. That would be bad, but they have cameras, so it'll be okay. Such criticism answers, if your landlord's just shrugging, you gotta look out for yourself. Keep receipts, keep recording, and don't let up. They want you to feel on edge. Don't give them that win. Yeah, don't let the terrorists win ever, ever, ever. Motion activated dash cam and a rear cam for your car. Living the dream says security cameras. That's all the security cameras. That's the whole thing. Team tuna fish, or as we would call them, team too much fish, says, good Lord, there is no denying you are targeted. Who even knows what caltrops are anymore? Viola Swamp says, I have no idea what a caltrop is. The LP says, I didn't know either until I looked it up. Literally a weapon with a point that you put in the ground, commonly used to punch tires. It's illegal where I live. Yikes. Yikes, 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 yikes. We have Benign Existence, entitled, I Made a Woman's Day by Making Her Think She'd Made My Day. That's awesome. For whatever reason, I seem to get blood tests all of the time. I think I'm a bit of a hypochondriac, and the doctor's solution is to whatever random problem I seem to have is to give me a blood test. Because I've had so many, the nurse knows me by name, and we've grown friendly. The last time we went for a blood test to check my testosterone levels, the nurse said she'd ask for a chaperone for me. I used to ask for a chaperone since I hate needles, but I don't really anymore. I just bring my dog Teddy and get it over with. This chaperone was a young woman, and I felt too awkward to tell her I didn't need her. So I just asked to hold her hand. I got my blood drawn. It sucked. I screamed a little and squeezed her hand. Then it was over and I was fine. We got to chatting, and the chaperone said she was 19 and in uni studying nursing, and this was practice for her. She said she was so happy she was able to be there for me in my moment of need, and that she couldn't wait to tell her family how helpful and needed she was. It was really sweet. Oh, little kids, they're so fun. Lava Chat says, as a teacher for nursing students, kudos to your nurse. She probably clocked you'd be so kind to help support a fresh student. I'm glad it worked out for you too. I'm always up for students of any kind. When I had my kids, I got them at U of M hospital, which is a teaching hospital, and every time they said, "Do you mind if the kids watch?" It was like, "No, I don't mind at all. If the kids watch, they need to learn. They need to learn that I want good doctors." Found Satan is entitled "Mad Church of Satan." Um, so this uh, message from Gage says Anton LaVey's last words, deathbed confession equals I was wrong with what I did in this life. Your own founder exposed y'all at Church of Satan, LOL. Church of Satan says this is a rumor started almost a decade after his death by a Christian on YouTube. The fact is that he died in a hospital of pulmonary edema, which means his lungs were full of fluid, rendering him unable to speak. So stop lying about it. And it shouldn't say rumor, it should say lie, because that's a lie. That's what a lie is. Top comment is from McPlano. It says, even if his lungs weren't flooded, the moments before he died, he confessed he was wrong. Garbage doesn't make sense. Ah, yes, this person that's literal moments away from death is surely going to be 100% coherent and not at all just saying whatever as their brain loses its grasp on the mortal coil. Why can I not say mortal coil? A droid Ewan answers, I'm not religious, but one time when I nearly died, I was in full hysterics. I started begging God to forgive me and all the rest of it. I asked my wife to tell my grandparents that I'm sorry for not seeing them more, and I kept asking for water. Don't remember any of it. All I remember is looking outside the passenger window and seeing lorries roll about 80 centimeters from my face and then waking up in a hospital 4 days later. It makes me think that the real you dies before you actually die. The thing that actually dies is a scared animal. uh, Sharp Drow says this. They tried this crap with Christopher Hitchens, and he was very clear he would not beg for God on his deathbed. And there's some kind of Jolty Chan says, as a member of the Satanic Temple, it astounds me the amount of slander and accusations and threats made against us, even though nearly all proceeds from the products or donations made go back to helping society build clinics, challenging constitutional, hollow Christian state laws, creating opportunities for children to learn in a way that works best for them rather than the all for one teaching methods used in many school systems. TST isn't even related at all to Christianity, but many evangelicals saw science, critical thinking, and personal freedoms as a threat to their way of life. So the name was chosen to be more of a symbol of life without God than anything related to the Bible. Exactly. They're chaotic good. Next is Just No Mill and is entitled Mill Proof Locks. Mother in law will be visiting our home soon, but luckily it's a short visit since she has other obligations that will bring her out our way. She told us she wanted to stay here for a few days, but we gave her 1 day and night that worked for us only because she was going to be in town. You can't tell us what you want, Mill, but that doesn't mean that it's going to happen. Well, that's kind of mean, but that's not the point of my post. She just loves to snoop through our things. Last time she was here, she was going through our bathroom cabinets looking for a hairdryer to borrow. She has her own guest bathroom to use, so she went out of her way to go into ours and start looking around. Any normal person would just ask, but not my entitled boundary stomping mother in law. I have these baby proofing cabinet locks that require a magnet on the outside of the cabinet to open the latch of the lock, therefore opening a cabinet. I got them a while ago, but I couldn't get them to fit my cabinets. I just took them out again as I've been stressing about her snooping this upcoming visit. Now that I have more determination, I figured out how to get them to fit our cabinets, and I have successfully installed them on all bathroom cabinets. The magnet will be hidden away. It's not like I have anything crazy in my cabinets. It's just the principle how I can actually put more personal things there if I need to. And I don't have a baby, so it's not like it's weird for them. And I do have a baby, so it's not like it's weird for them to be baby proofed. They needed to be baby proofed, but now they're mother in law proofed as well. Got to celebrate the small wins that brings a little peace of mind during inevitable alert stress time. Yeah, that's fine. If you don't want people going through your stuff, put your stuff out of reach. For everyone, works for adults as well as children. And why are you going through your kids' stuff? It's so weird. Retail Hell, entitled, I walked out because they tried to make me the cashier. I've told them many times that I do not want to be the cashier. I've even said that I will quit because before I'm a cashier again. I had a terrible Valentine's Day weekend. I had a rough morning at my other job. I arrived at my retail job in a bad state of mind already. When I heard the words that you're cashier today, that was the straw that broke the camel's back. Absolutely no way in hell am I going to be a cashier. I locked myself out, put my coat back on, and left. I worked at that job for 2 years. It was time, so I was so burnt out. I had the worst anxiety before work, and not even because the job was stressful or anything. I just didn't want to be there at all. It feels so good to be free. I never have to clean that store again. Never have to tell someone's grandma 50 times that she can remove her debit card from the card reader. Freedom. Top comment is from Cloud Memory says, I wish I could just walk out. I was hired to stock, but I've been a cashier pretty much the entire time I've been here and I'm tired of it. Zombie with an X says, if it's not in your contract that you're a cashier, you actually shouldn't do it. That's not how that works in the US, honey. Nuka Cola Addict says, the catch is that a lot of retail places have a clause somewhere in that contract that effectively says your job is whatever we say it is, which makes stuff like this go harder to fight. At least that's how my store is. Yeah, that's true. Busy Equipment says cashier here sucks. Literally 5 minutes ago, my lazy butt kitchen coworker came up to me to complain that inventory won't let her do her job. So for the last 2.5 hours, she's been busting butt, rushing because a truckload she's been standing around. I said, "Hey, you could have gotten the drinks area, and I had to do everything for because nothing was done by anyone else." And she slammed my counter all mad and said, "That's cashier's job. First, we're labeled team members. You're not above me." Oh, I hate when people that think they're above you. Second, you're way closer to it than the registers. And third, I've had over 15 boxes to put away for nicotine. Never mind the line, some machinery breaking and being short staffed. All for that time you literally pace back and forth in the luxury of the break room. Wanging scrum, we all get wanged over, so I don't blame you. Oh, so glad I don't have to work anymore. I hate people. People made me hate people by working in a customer service position. This is from Petty Revenge and is entitled Ask Me About My Weight. Let's Make It Awkward. I, 36 male, work in an office that's exclusively made up of male coworkers. I'm 185 centimeters, 6'7", to my 40 kilogram, 554.3 pounds, which means I present as quite skinny. To be clear, I don't have any EDs or illnesses. I have deduced it to being a high metabolism. Hey, if you're taller, you get to eat more food. That's why I'm fat, because I'm short and I like food. The worse it is for you, the better I like it. Either way, I feel I'm perfectly healthy as confirmed by my GP, general practitioner, doctor. The big boss, let's call him High Septon. Why are we calling him that? That's a dumb name. I'm just calling him High. The big boss, let's call him High, has made some jabs and playful jokes that he probably wouldn't phrase it regarding my weight, like calling me Sparrow in my native language, which isn't normally interpreted as small, skinny, frail person. I don't really care what he thinks about me personally. He doesn't know me on a personal level, but it kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I may be able to take it, but what of my colleagues? Not everyone has a thick skin and not everyone can shake it off. So I decided to throw a wrench in there the next time he brought it up. Yesterday, Hi came over to my desk and asked me something, which for some reason led to a discussion about food. HS, so you're not gonna eat today, Sparrow? Falsely insinuating that I don't eat every day. Me, nah, I'm on a diet. I'm trying to lose weight. HS, what? Me, yeah, I've been kind of feeling kind of bloated lately. I want to lose like 22 kilograms, like 10 kilograms, which is 22 pounds. HS, but you can't do that. You're not really on a diet, are you? I just shrugged and went back to working. He just stared at me and then meeked back to his own desk. For clarity, I currently have a BMI of 20.5. The imaginary target weight I threw at him would put me at 17.5, which is way too low. I have absolutely no plans on losing any weight. If anything, I struggle to put on weight. Oh, poor you. You can, just start eating more high calorie foods. You'll put on weight. He avoided me for the rest of the day and haven't looked at me all day. And best of all, no comments about food or weight. If he says anything more, I'm going to call him out. But for now, I'll just continue to wallow in the awkward, tense environment I have managed to create. Edit. Thank you all for all the awards and all the warming, loving comments. You're so wonderful. I can definitely feel the love on this, loving this Chili's tonight. I also want to clarify two things. Yes, I will take it up with HR, but I'm not going to do a big show and dance of it. I get the Reddit thirst for blood, and I'm definitely one who can jump on that bandwagon. But I also feel confident enough that he was joking, inappropriate as it was. Well, yeah, but people shouldn't joke. They shouldn't joke if it makes you feel some way. People shouldn't joke. They should know that it makes you feel some way. And then if they continue, then it's not funny. Jokes are supposed to be funny for everybody, not just the target of the joke should not feel like they're being targeted. He was just lucky the target of his joke happened to be the most chill scarecrow on the planet. I also want to take a moment to thank everyone who pointed out the double meaning of the abbreviation ED. Yeah, there's several for that one. I will definitely look into Marfan syndrome. As several of you pointed out, several of the symptoms do match a little bit too well for me to dismiss it. I will take it up with my doctor the next time you see him. And lastly, you are all fantastic beings. You never need to justify your body shape or form in any other part of your existence to anyone. Never forget that. Little boo boo is a top comment, and they say, your boss is super gullible or something. That would be obvious joke to most people considering how you described your appearance here. Glad you got to kneel him back though. No one should comment on other people's weight. Yes. Don't talk about other people and what their weigh. Don't. Just don't. Spiky Pineapple or the whole OP says, I think the perfect storm of him being just enough gullible and my just enough deadpan expression when I said it. And you're right, no one should comment on anyone's weight, which kind of helped me in doubling down on the prank. Come Monday, I might even bring some diet pops. I feel committed. Vivid Fiddlestick says, as a significantly overweight woman, if I were your coworker, I'd love to join the prank and let your boss and tell your boss I was trying to bulk up a bit since I was too thin. um, Jeff the Nth says anorexia diseases metabolism. All different reasons one might be lighter. And sorry, squirrel. And all should raise concerns, not a lark to laugh at, pun intended. I'd report him to HR. Either he should show concern or keep his nose out, but not laugh. Yeah, you shouldn't. You don't know what that person's going through. Even if you're their boss, you might not know that they have some kind of cancer or Crohn's disease or something. You don't know. Next, we have Emma the Jerk, and he is entitled AITJ for kicking a kid off my team mid-season after his parents tried to get me fired. Probably not. Why is his parents trying to get you fired? I coach a U14, which means 14-year-olds, rec soccer league. Been doing it for 6 years now. The season I have I have pretty solid group of kids, mostly good energy and no real drama until about a month ago. One of my players, let's call him Tyler, started missing practices without notice. No text, no calls, nothing. I pull him aside after he shows up to a game like nothing happened, and I tell him that communication matters, and if something comes up, his parents need to let me know. Also, you don't get to play because you are not at practice, and we cannot work around you. Next thing I know, I get a call from the league coordinator saying Tyler's mom filed a complaint against me for singling out her son and creating a hostile environment. By pulling him aside and telling him that he needs communication? Girl, please. She also apparently told some other parents I scream at kids during practice, which is just not true, like not even close to true. The coordinator watched one of our sessions and cleared me completely. Said everything looked fine. After that, I sat with it for a week trying to be the bigger person. But then Tyler missed two more practices with zero communication again and showed up the next game expecting to start. Where does this kid get off? No, you miss practice, you don't get to play. Period. End of sentence. I told him he'd be coming off the bench and his mom absolutely lost it on the sideline. Yelling loud enough that younger kids in the adjacent field were looking over. I pulled Kyler from the roster the next day. Some of the other parents think I overreacted and that I should have given the family more chances. No. A few of the coaches I know say they would have done the same thing. Honestly, I'm still not sure if I handled the end part right. No, he did this 2 weeks in a row. First time he was said, hey, if you're going to miss practice, I need to know. Your mom needs to let me know what's going on. Second week, you missed practice and you had the gall to believe you're going to start. Give me a break. No. NTA. Legal T says NTA, my school had to sign a conduct contract when we joined a school sport, and our parents did too. After 3 unexcused or missed or explained misses, we would be benched and have a meeting with us, coach, and the parents, and then if it happened again, we'd be kicked off the team. OP says it's kind of what I wish I had in writing. Rec league is looser, but 3 no-shows with 0 text is still wild. Might push the league to add a simple attendance code form. Meg MRG answers, my My club team doesn't have an official absence policy, but if my 10U son next day, and this is excused school or other sport events, and I've been told the coach about the conflict slash missing. Just a hey, kid has a basketball game and will miss practice. Coach had never said the policy, but I fully support my son not starting if he wasn't at practice. Exactly, that's how a parent should be. My son will also play the entire game because he's a top player, but he can sit if he needs to. If he's not showing up to practices with no communication, then he should be removed. If he's not showing up to practices with communication, he may make way for a kid who wants to be there. I find it hilarious that the mom complained your son. This is just this is such a reasonable take. A quick hey, he's got a conflict text takes like 10 seconds and it changes the whole situation. The irony of complaining about hostile environment while not showing up at all is doing a lot of work here. Make space for the kid who actually wants to be there. Spot on. 100% agree with Petit Latte. Cal Golden Bear, you miss practice, you don't play. Exactly. Exactly. Let's invite her. Simple rule, no fluff. Miss practice, it's not a punishment, it's just how the team works. Otherwise, what are you even teaching them? Mike Mojis answers the original also. Starting is for the kids who put in the work. I didn't see any work from Tyler this week. Is there any reason I should not expect to see him putting in the work next week? And somebody with a downrated comment says, we're talking about practice, not a game. No, we're talking about a game. He showed up to the game and thought he was going to start. Somebody answered that original AI. No Machine says, coach kids soccer in the 80s and 90s and stopped coaching, not because the kids didn't show up and expect to play, because the parents were winging insufferable. Not for me, not for Joe. Carrot Slayer says, stop coaching softball for the same reason. I winging hated the parents. Sports parents are a different breed of people. They are the most obnoxious. Not all of them, of course, but there are a few that you just cannot like deal with. The coach from the stands, it's ridiculous. Like, sit down and shut up. The rest of us have kids playing too, you know. I think somebody from my town got kicked out of attending any kids sports because he would stand there and like scream at the kids from the stands. And I'm not even sure he had a kid playing. He just all of a sudden stopped coming. Dorchester said, yep, I stopped coaching softball for the same reason. Parents were unhinged and kids just wanted to play and have fun. Be missed answers the original comment. Parents really are the final boss of youth sports. No, they're not. The kids usually just want to play and have fun, and then the adults turn into courtroom drama. I don't blame you at all for getting tired of that energy. Coaching would be amazing if it was just the kids sometimes. No Machines answers her saying, going to set up a league where parents drop their kids off and can watch, but cannot interact with officials and coaches might do the trick. That's kind of how they do the dance stuff. They have a two-way mirror, and the moms have to go into another room and watch the kids, so the kids can't hear them. Cuckosaurus says, I have friends with kids in club sports. They were complaining the other day about closed practices where the parents aren't allowed to attend and how much they hate it. I thought they sounded crazy. I was like, did your parents hover over every activity when you were a kid? No, they didn't. This is a difference in parents. It's ridiculous. You don't need to be there. Go run stairs, meet a friend, or read a book. I swear to God, parents from my generation have totally lost the plot. Their kids are their entire personality. It's true. True for, I mean, ouch, what is that? Or they had never had a personality other than high school sports. That happens. Hairball. Hairball in my pants. It was like hurting actually. I'm very sensitive. Leave me alone. All right, next we have entitled people. Entitled, friend thought I was funding her whole party's drinks. What? I'm a bartender. A girl I'm friends with just turned 30. She invited me out, but I was working, and then she's like, "We might swing by, LOL." And I say, "Cool. I'll give you a free birthday drink, maybe a few." I'm thinking she took that as I was doing that for her and her alone. Maybe some of her girls, depending on the group size. She shows up with like 20 people and expects me to hook them all up and give them a table that needs to be reserved in advance. And I was like, "Girl, WTF, I can't do that." And she says, "It's not like I'm asking you to pay." Wah. Then who's paying? My boss? You think that will go over well? These folks were drinking too. I'm talking like a tab of $3,000 ish altogether. And as she thought it would be free because we are friendly. Also, I made $75 in tips from the whole group. Girl, bye. I mean, $300 would have been low. Possible Coconut says nobody's birthday is that special. And Opie says, right, the main character syndrome is real. She had a tiara and a sash too. She's 30. Come on, grow up. Oh my goodness. These people. Kind of girl says, oh no, it's killed the girl. Well, that's not nice. I'm gonna need details on the moment a group of like 20 drunk people found out they'd have to please. And OP answers, honestly, most of them seemed like they were expecting it. She seemed to be the only one who was super shocked. They were more mad about the table and were kind of like, come on, no one's even sitting there right now. We could move if they come. But they didn't really give me too much grief. Some of the girls were kind of mean, though, not going to lie. But like petty high school stuff, scoffing and eye rolling. If they caused a scene, I had to kick them out. They're 30 and they're still acting like they're in high school. It's disgusting. Just for bad words. One question is just dismantle the whole narrative. It's about ice, not the good kind. ICE has purchased a massive warehouse in Hagerstown, Maryland, to be used as a detention facility. They are doing this everywhere. Dreamlife says, "Why the concentration camps if these people are supposed to be deporting all these people?" Yeah, my question exactly. If they're deporting all these people, why do we need concentration camps? And they're like everywhere. It's not just like here and there. Like there's at least two that I know of in Michigan, and they've already got one up north. Why do they need so many? Why do they need so many for a few supposedly criminals? Criminal illegals, not the illegals that just came across the border, which is a civil offense and not criminal. Why do we need all of them? Who are you going to arrest next? I'm curious. Awa Apaka says, why do you think no one wants access to voter data? Wasn't that the one that just got kicked out of her? Yeah, wasn't it? Forrest Dial says, see y'all at camp. At least my grandkids will know I wasn't fascist. Right. Kaboom says, well, my wife, an American citizen born in the U.S., was racially profiled and targeted by ICE a few months ago while she was doing nothing except walking to work while not white. I said it's only a matter of time before they start killing people out in the streets. Now, unfortunately, that's come to pass too, and I predict it's only a matter of time before they start targeting people for their political views instead of their race using social media. Yeah, I'm screwed, guys. People need to wake up and pull their heads out of the sand and maybe open a history book. All of this has happened before. All of this will happen again. And they'll tell you it's not concentration camps. They're not killing anybody. Meh, 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 meh. Like, how do you think things started in Germany, people? It didn't start with killing Jews in concentration camps. Jews weren't even the first people they came for. Read the. You could just. Oh, sorry. I'm apoplectic. You can just read the poem. First, they came for the socialists. Well, guess who's considered socialist now? Anybody that's not MAGA. Doyley says they are demanding the voter rolls from every state, and it's also a clause in the SAVE Act. They're already setting the stage. Melissa asks, so anyone who votes against the Republicans is going to be a target, automatic target? And Dale the Hall says, yup. What do you think is going to happen? My page answers the original comment saying, we recently had an ICE raid in town from our Jersey. We lived in West Berlin, and the West Berlin, how appropriate. And the raid was in Lindenwood. They're asking for volunteers to stay with the children at the bus stops, and I'm thinking of doing it. I might do that too if it gets to that here. I'm wondering if ICE shoots me, will my MAGA relatives say I deserved it? They have said wild things about Renee Good and Alex Preddy already. It's crazy that I live in a country where I have to worry about being shot while helping children to go to their school. Well, at least it's not your cousin threatening you with your life, because I've had that happen. RGQ Kratz says, is the next top rated comment. It says, because the next shoe to drop are corporations using those detained as slave labor. Ooh. Yeah, that's true. Dang. Ooh. Whiskey Dyke says, the final solution of the Nazis came about after they realized they couldn't just remove the Jewish population from the country. First deportation centers, then work camps, and then. Kind Engineering answers, this is a salient point ignored by so many in the past few years. The Nazis didn't start at extermination camps. It began with dehumanizing rhetoric, and then forced immigration, then economic limitations, then legislation ostracization, then deportations and forced ghettos and work camps, and then take Long Ramen answers that's not entirely true. There's evidence they redirected exhaust gas back into the cargo uh, room of trucks. Well, where do you think they were taking the trucks to? That doesn't make any sense. Third top comment is from Significant Sir, and it says, how wild how a single logical question can expose the gap between what's being said and what's actually being built. And Sir Tabitha says, recent Rachel Maddow did a piece explaining what's going on with these detention centers. The U.S. government pays $165 per day per detainee per day. She said detaining, but she meant detainee. The U.S. government pays $165 per detainee per day to these facilities. These facilities are managed and run by private companies. The founders and CEOs of these private companies are, wait for it, pals of Trump's, along with other members of Trump's cabinet, being investors or shareholders in some of these companies, like Stephen Miller. So let's do the math, shall we? Some kidnapped detainees that we know about. In these locations, 165 per day detainee, she did it right that time, per day for a year is just under $5 billion. That's the U.S. taxpayers' money. This was never about immigration. It was always the con of the grift. So until dumping his cretins are gone, fight in the ways you know you can. Go tax exempt. Buy stuff you only need. Hold your representative accountable by reaching out day and night if you have to. Don't just get mad. Get organized and fight where you can right now. Even sharing this information with others is something. Edit. Thank you for all the upvotes, everyone, and apologies if my math skills weren't totally spot on. Trying my best with averages. I admit I was typing in somewhat of a rage. But that's okay. That's okay. You don't have to be perfect, so Tabitha. We appreciate you. Oh, expectation versus reality after that, for sure. It's entitled, I'm utterly shook. I took a chance on these Aldi, and now if they have them in stock, I will buy the whole box. They also had spicy salmon, and that is tasty, but a little too spicy for me. $4.75 each. And sometimes Aldi will surprise you. I got some stuff from Aldi this week. Well, last week, technically, but it was not good. Beef bulgogi, kimbap, Korean style barbecue beef, and seaweed rice roll. So kind of like a sushi roll, but with bulgogi. Wow, looks pretty good. That's dang. If I liked spicy, I would be getting that. I don't like spicy. I'd have to have something different because keep trying the bulgogi and it's too spicy. I'll have to check and see what the prices are. Or not the prices, but the spices. Some spices I can tolerate and like any kind of chili. I don't even like mild peppers. I'll have banana peppers occasionally on like um roast beef sandwich or something like that, but that's the only time I'll eat them. Crockett Corn says, as a tip, dip them in beaten egg, no breading, and pan fry them. Super tasty. OP says, oh snap, that's a really good idea. Snap. Uh, some deleted thing. I don't know what that was. Probably another topping or something. That with some soy sauce. Yeah. Somebody says they're going to try 'em with Trader Joe's. Dupe says, wow, 475. Nice. OP says, and filling, I should have put banana next to it for scale. Capricola says Trader Joe's are good too. All right. Um, so if you haven't already, please like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications. I try to go live at least 4 times a week, Tuesday through Thursday, usually about noon Eastern time. Tell your friends, tell your family, and tell your enemies, and tell your grandmas, tell your teenagers, and tell your neighbors. And if you go to church, tell the people at church. They probably won't like me though. If you have a story of your own, come across a good one in the wild, please send us an email called submission, entitled submission. If you would like an email link to the current day's current live, send an email entitled subscribe. The email is biddybrunchbunch, all one word, at gmail.com. It's also in the description. You email me anytime. I don't care. um, yeah, I don't got anything else today. It's one of those days. Next, we have our real estate segment. I say real estate because it's not always going to be Zillow. A lot of these are Zillow, but from Zillow Gone Wild. But if I find something interesting, I'll put it on there instead. Oh, that caught me by surprise. This is from Big Sur, California. Almost $8 million. By the time you pay tax on it, it's going to be $8 million. Easy. 4 bedrooms, 4 baths, 3,300 square feet. Pretty small for a 8. That is beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. $8 million is beautiful? No, probably not, but beautiful. I mean, it is right on the ocean, which is cool. I keep thinking about winter. How would you get up there in the winter? They don't have winter, so it's okay. That is a really nice room. Oh, you got your little park bench down there to watch the ocean. Maybe the sea lions or the whales will stop by sometime. Why is there a bathtub? Why is there a freaking bathtub? It's so weird. I'm confused. That's weird having it two different sinks like that. I'm assuming this is the bathroom, the master suite. Is that a bath? Supposed to be a bathtub? So they put the spa out inside and they put the bathtub outside. Nice kitchen. I don't know that I like the stove out in the air like that because it would get all over the floor. And let's go back to that for a second. Why do we not have nooks and crannies for our garbage, for our kitchen waste? Why do we not have nooks and crannies for that? If I ever get to redo the kitchen, and I may, if once we stop, once we aren't traveling and have that money to spend on other things, or if this takes off, I make actually make money from this. We're thinking about expanding the kitchen, and I'm going to have all kinds of stuff. I have all kinds of ideas for that. All kinds of fancy. Nice fireplace with a fake fire. Oh, that's an interesting triangle room. That would totally be the triangle room for us. This is some kind of shrine. It's weird. Sorry. It's bizarro. Landscape. Everything points outside. Every seat points outside. Which I mean, I don't blame them. Oh, it's a swing. The tree swing. That's nice. Everybody appreciates a good tree swing. This gazebo needs some work. You have to take about $1 million off for that. I presume this is the parking. I don't know what that's supposed to be. Ooh, that's beautiful. And that's all we have. Oops. What do I get back to? Oh, there we go. Ugh, I ruined it. Hold on. Okay. $7,850,000. 4 bedrooms, 4 baths, 3,300 square feet. It's on 5 acres, so that's built in 1965. It's an oceanside sanctuary set on a private forested promontory in there. Designed by Francis Palms and Mickey Muning. The house and a cottage. I didn't see a cottage. It's supposed to embody the serenity of Big Sur. Um, the 3 bedroom main house is 2 stories. So there's an extra house. So you get 2 houses for the price of one. Kitchen leads to a second deck that overlooks a lily pond with ocean and south views. The master bathroom has radiated heated marble floors. Ooh, nice. Because you can turn them off in the summer and although I don't know how much summer they get there. Not much. Next to it is kids' rooms, a half bath, and a traditional Japanese room. Um, has gardens and paths meandering over the 5 acres. Nearby cottage has a deck and an endless pool, and is used as an office guest room. The rarest of houses. It has a gas oven and range, refrigerator and washer, dryer, laundry, and you did not see that. There's 2 fireplaces and they're wood burning. It has a kitchen family room combo, dining family room combo, a dining bar, two cut two. Oh, it does have a garage, which I didn't see, but maybe I missed that. It's above ground pool with a pool cover. I mean, if you're going to be in California, you may as well have a pool, even if you have the ocean right there that you can go in. Not sure if that ocean was accessible though. Taxes are only $20,000 a year. That's not bad at all. I always complain about the taxes in California, but they're not bad, really. Sometimes, well, sometimes. It's only $19,000 a year. I mean, yeah, you and I can't pay that, but somebody with money can. That's a chump change. Oh, this is okay. Trigger warning for snakes. If you don't like snakes, you don't want to look at this. Look away and or um vamoose for a minute or close your eyes or whatever you need to do. It says hand sanitizer um to keep a snake from eating himself. Video.
All right, so today this king snake successfully swallowed himself. I don't know how long he's been like this. He's still alive, but I'm just going to use some hand sanitizer and see if this will get him to undo what he's done. Yep.
Wow.
They do not like the taste of hand sanitizer, and that
Yeah, but
worked
why did
quite
you put it in
well.
his eyes?
Hopefully.
I think you just need to dab a little near his mouth and he'd be fine. Well, that is interesting. Is it not? Is that not interesting? Did I not entertain you with that snake video? Detect a video in your stream belonging to someone else. Yeah, yeah, it's silly. It's because I put in a YouTube video. Silly, silly, silly. They'll ask me about it later and turn it back on, hopefully. It wasn't even that long. I don't even think it counts as copyright. All right. Can everybody still hear me? I hope so. I don't know. Next is from Am I the A-hole? And it is entitled AITA for not moving back with my dad just because he got divorced. No, of course not. You're a human. I'm assuming you're an adult because who wants to live with their dad if they're an adult? My mom died when I was 16, 16 female, so she's 16, was a baby. My aunt, my mom's sister, stepped in and became like a second mom to me. When I was 8, she moved for work, so I went from seeing her every day to her flying me out 1 to 2 times a month, plus 1 week of winter break, spring break, and 50-50 over the summer. When I was 12, my dad married Judy, and they kept saying she was my new mom. And I don't need to keep visiting my aunt because I have Judy. Well, that's wrong. That's just wrong. Um, he also gave my room to Judy's kids since it was bigger, and I refused to share. And told my aunt that they decided that I couldn't fly alone, so either she had to fly out to get me or drive all the way there and back. I decided to stay with my aunt for a few months after my dad married Judy because it was pretty obvious he cared about his new family more than me. Yeah, they literally kicked the kid out of her room. That's just wrong. Either buy a new house or make do with the other rooms. My dad and Judy are getting divorced now because Judy cheated on him and he found out that their new kids weren't his. Ooh, ouch. Poor dad. He called me and asked me to move back home because he misses me and he doesn't have any family left. Sir, if this is not the consequences of your own actions. I said no because I like it here. Plus, she's 16. She should stay where she's at. She's in high school. No, no, she should stay where she's at. Moving in high school is the worst. The worst. I would never do that to a kid. That's why I insisted on moving. I told my husband, we either move before the oldest one starts high school or we stay here until they're done because we're not moving a high school kid. I'll move a middle school kid. We moved when the oldest one was in 6th grade. I'll move like a 7th grader, but that's probably the limit. 8th grade's pushing it for me. because you have to have those established bonds. My aunt is a way better parent than my dad, and she's been dating this guy that comes over on weekends and makes us the best hamburgers, steak, and he can fix his cars as a hobby and side job, so he's working on one for me. I also really like my school, and I have friends, and we're really close to a lot of good colleges, so I probably won't even have to move out for college. My dad and his side of the family are upset that I won't move back because he's my dad and he needs me. But he's the one that chose his family over me, and them getting divorced isn't my problem to solve. Very smart 16-year-old. I don't really plan to change my mind, but I want to know if me refusing to move back makes me an a-hole. No, no, it does not. It makes you a normal person. Your dad chose over you. He did nothing for you. You don't owe him anything. Patience, not my virtue, says, if he wasn't getting a divorce, would he be wanting to make amends and have you in his life? Or is it just about him and the fact that he now has no one? What happens if he gets into a new relationship? I think we all know the answer to the above's NTA. Plus, why can't he move? Why can't he move near her? He could move. He got nothing there now. Tight Jaguar says his dad favored his new family to the point of giving them OP's room. He'll do it again. OP should stay with the caring aunt. Yes. Never only a dream says he probably will, yeah. He only wants her back now because he's depressed and feels like he has nothing. NTA for not wanting to move back. Don't let family guilt you into leaving a situation where you are flourishing and happy because he's your father. If he would have acted like it, it wouldn't have been a problem in the first place. Too many people think, but family is a valid reason to do something you don't want to do. Suitable leather says, his second cop comment says, if you guys had a great relationship and he was a great parent, it's not a child's job to regulate their parents' emotions. It's extremely unfair for your dad and family to guilt you by saying he needs you. Polemy Parameter says, I don't know how to pronounce it. This answer needs all the upvotes. OP gets to do what's best for them. If dad was a grown up, he'd realize that OP should keep their established school friends, etc. Exactly. He's very lucky OP's aunt provided a stable, loving home through what could have been a more chaotic life for OP, NTA. And some people gave them 2 awards and they thanked them. The Bark says adults don't need kids, children need their parents. Where were all these adults when OP's dad decided to stop being his daughter's parent? Debsha says, well, somebody needs to cook and clean. Do you really think an adult man can do all that? Sarcastically, of course. The third top rate comment is NTA. Ask them where he was when you needed them. That's the way parenting works, not the other way around. Next, we have Overheard, and this is Overheard in Taipei. 7 women in their 50s in a restaurant in Taipei translated from Mandarin. Remember my cousin who lives in New York? She's afraid to leave the house now because ICE is everywhere. It's terrifying. She's a legal immigrant and has her green card and everything is legal. But ICE is taking people from the street and they disappear. It doesn't matter if you're legal or not, they just grab people. They're afraid to catch criminals, so they go after people who look like they won't fight. I was going to visit her over Chinese New Year, but she told me no, stay in Taiwan where you're safe. Any maggots got any comments on that? Comfortable Figure says, think of what this is doing to tourism. Third Coasting answers, it's really hurting universities and colleges that depend on international student tuition to help fund programs. OP says, I used to teach students preparing to study abroad, mostly in the US. Trump's election in 2016 knocked the bottom out of the market. COVID almost finished it off. Students came back under Biden, and now everybody wants to go. Now nobody wants to go. Before COVID, I read that education in the US was down $1 billion a year, but that's just the money, not the invaluable goodwill. Ethel Fleta says, as a Minnesotan, it is It literally is not safe for anyone on the streets except white people. That's why you see mostly white people in the videos because my neighbors don't feel safe to go out to eat, let alone protest. I'm ashamed of America right now, and I swear we are trying to fix this mess. But seriously, don't come visit the US right now. Sand specialist says boycott the US, everyone. Boycott the World Cup. They should. They should not have the World Cup this year. And if this continues into 2028, they shouldn't have the Olympics here. They should boycott the Olympics. Let us take everything, I guess. Money says, as a Minnesotan, it is literally not safe for anyone in the streets except white people. Alex Preddy and Renee Macklin Good would like a word with you. Oh, wait. And Pancilio says, so think about what that means for non-white people. Cobbler Money says, same thing it's always meant. You're not safe around law enforcement. Their top rated comment is friend's neighbor is English, married, 3 kids, no family or people left in the UK. Missed a filing deadline for immigration one day, hired a lawyer, went to immigration court in Arizona, denied. He's being deported. He's one of the lucky ones. He just got off with an ankle monitor. He has 2 weeks to get his affair in order and he has to be on the plane. He's devastated and terrified. He'll be homeless when he arrives in London. They're not wealthy and he's not a professional who has a clear credit and connections. He's a tradesman. Told he can't reapply for 10 years. Not brown, not a criminal, not a drug lord pusher, maker, runner, just a dad trying to do the right thing. Wang this crap hole fascist country. Okay, ETA, since this seemed to have sparked a fair amount of debate about my intent, I do not, nor ever have I believed, that being brown implies criminality, justifies disappearing, illegality, drug involvement, or any of the other atrocities currently being attributes used as false justification for disappearing humans in this country. I'm disgusted and sickened by it. Yes, I realize the reason this person wasn't disappeared is because he's a white English speaker. That was my whole point. The hypocrisy of what they say they are trying to do versus the blatant human rights violations they're committing. I don't think any of it is except me. Call me a wanging snowflake. But the issue isn't immigrants or whatever non-cis white male group they're targeting that particular day. If 40 families hoard 60% of the nation's wealth, the problem isn't the families living below the poverty line. It's trying to survive for no matter what color, country, gender, or language they speak. And yes, someone corrected me by saying to say by this government, except people, citizens who are signing up to militarize and become ICE agents have, albeit sketchy, legal authority to enact their basest racist instincts. So I stand by my statement of this country, and it all disgusts me. I pray we don't get a fair and legitimate. I pray we get a fair and legitimate vote that allows us to finally oust and expose the rot. But today, my hopes are not high. No Mirror says government. You mean crap hole racist government? Mighty Mouse says no. Unfortunately, all of this is ours. The ones who didn't vote for Kamala because yeah, I made a nice hole for myself. The ones who didn't vote for Kamala because of Gaza or no nominating convention or not bothering to register or maybe getting out of bed on election day, or the ones like me who voted but don't much bother with politics between elections. All of us, good or bad, this is my country. Covered in Breakfast says, I'm an American in the UK and I'm luckily able to vote online via my home board of elections. It's a pain in the ass to vote from abroad, but all my expat friends do it. So the people who didn't vote for Kamala or whatever reason chose not to vote at all are just as complicit as MAGA for putting that crap stain in the Oval Office. I completely agree with that statement. If you didn't vote, you're part of the problem. You're definitely not part of the solution. So thanks. Really appreciate it. I'm also paying for VOIP to call my Congress people. I don't ever plan to return to the US, but I'm still fighting for y'all. I'm praying I get the opportunity to vote this year. I'm not sure what the SAVE Act is going to do for voters abroad, but if you or anyone you know is a woman who votes, call your senator and tell them to vote no. It's just another way to disenfranchise women voters. 100%. What they don't realize is that it's going to disenfranchise more Republican voters than it's going to Democrat women, because Democrat women are way less likely to change their name. And we don't have any stigma about it, and they do. Okay, second top comment is from Alternative Cry, and it states, I want to start my own town mostly white, as are the police. Our situation is definitely not racial, but it highlights the arrogance and cultural issues in law enforcement agencies nationwide, large and small. My tiny town is isolated but and served by 3 different police departments since we don't have one. The cops who come here have a giant attitude, and the gossip is that we get the ones who aren't being reprimanded. Don't know if that's 100% true, but my personal observations and experiences think it's not far off the mark. I like this person. Like, I don't know if that rumor's true, but it sure seems like it's true. They're not saying it's 100% true because I saw it, and that's the end of the discussion, like a lot of people do. Anecdote is not data, by the way. OP's overheard convo reminds me of how residents here are treated. The visiting cops ticket the residents rolling through a particular stop sign outside at 1 a.m. without another car in sight because there aren't any, except the cop hiding behind the fence with the lights off in the pitch black because there's no street light at that stop. So obviously a driver can't tell if someone is approaching. So you should stop at that stop sign. So I would make sure I stopped at that stop sign if that was going on and I knew about it. They arrest people for resembling a bank robber from 8 states away. Older, different hair color and length. Hair doesn't magically grow from the shoulders to the waist in 1 month. A 40-year-old doesn't become a 20-year-old in 1 month. A 20-year-old doesn't become a 40-year-old in 1 month either. They ticket people who don't know the county lowered the speed limit on a road near town. The sign is hidden behind a tree that's never been trimmed back. I'd go out there and do that myself. And the county didn't notify the town. The speed trap caught nearly 100 people the first day. That's terrible. 35 lowered to 25. So yeah, not a terrifyingly dangerous situation. The speed limit has been 35 for some 80 years. A change came out of the blue and confused everyone. That's entrapment at that point. That's illegal. I hope they're fighting it, and I hope the has some common sense. The cops don't bust the drug dealers despite being given the names, addresses, and who the customers are. They don't bust the sexual predators despite being given the names, addresses, and the victims. They don't stop the speeders on the notorious roads that everybody knows about. The above stories happened in just the past 30 years to present. This is a systematic issue, and ICE Border Patrol is extreme next step. I feel for everybody who are genuinely and rightly terrified. In the U.S., because of our demographics, many have people of color in our families and friend groups, and it affects the entire nation. Those ladies in Taipei are not wrong to be concerned for that woman. Yeah, and that woman's not wrong to be concerned about herself either. This is why people are picking up food from stores and taking them to people's doorsteps and stuff like that. It's ridiculous. It needs to stop. This is not the country I grew up in or the country I want to live in. It is just not. These are legal immigrants we're talking about. Never mind that illegal immigrants are not criminals. That's a civil matter. So they're not criminals either. Next, I have True Off My Chest, and it is entitled, I've Stopped Nagging My Husband and I'm Happier. I want to start off by saying this is not one of those just shut up and stay silent type of things. I have stopped nagging my husband, and I can say from the bottom of my heart, I'm so much happier. My husband has always told me that I overreact too much and that I get worked up and I constantly nagging him. We fight constantly about him not putting enough effort into our relationship and him not doing his fair share of chores. I have to constantly remind him to be romantic, affectionate, and to pick up after himself. I don't know why people are so into this romantic and affectionate thing. Maybe I'm a romantic, I don't know. I will say that yes, I'm a very emotional person. I grew up like that, and I have always expressed my emotions and feelings with passion. When I'm upset, I am very clear as to why and how it can be resolved. Thanks, Mom. LOL. Recently, something very big has happened. I was pregnant for about 5 weeks and lost it. Oh, I'm so sorry, OP. The very emotional person I am was very sad and sulking and crying a lot. Looking for comfort from my husband as one does, there was none. This is how he is, he says. I'm not very emotional, and showing emotions is hard. Okay, I've never blamed him for this, trauma, childhood, whatever. I will admit that, yes, I was giving him a hard time for being extra clingy. He does not like to cuddle or any mushy stuff. Well, maybe he's being romantic and doesn't mind when I give it, just doesn't like to reciprocate. And I, again, never blamed him. Wanting more love and support than I usually get for him, which is little to none. I'm usually the nurturing, loving, supportive one in our relationship. It's bothered me only in big situations like this where I truly need support and love and not any sort of comfort. Once I realized I would find absolutely no comfort in my husband and no support, I cried the entire night and stayed up replaying every instance where I've absolutely needed him and his support. Then something clicked and something shifted. I shouldn't give up if I don't receive, so I stopped. I shouldn't give if I don't receive, so I stopped everything. Love, support, nurturing, any physical intimacy, kissing, cuddling, etc. I stopped telling him what I need to be done. I stopped asking for romance. And while everything, I stopped nagging, as he would say. Once I did this, he immediately noticed. When he's at work, I usually give him updates about our 1 year old and call to check in. Once he's home, I usually greet him with love and support from the workday. I usually listen to his long rants about his hobbies. This time I did nothing. I gave him head rubs and back scratches at night. I usually tell him he's so handsome, so handsome, and how much I absolutely adore him about 100 times a day. I'm sorry, but that sounds annoying as hell. Like, leave me alone. Again, I'm very passionate. Nothing. I usually I'm usually on him about work assignments, what needs to be done around the house. I need help on how to manage our baby once he's home. I tell him to pick up after himself. I tell him to be romantic back and assure me nothing. It's been about a week and my mental health has gone so much better. I feel like when I had to manage two toddlers, now I have to manage only one. Why were you managing him at all? I have more free time to myself. I don't ask or listen to him about his day. I don't worry about him like I used to. I pick up after my babies and my messes only. I don't have nearly as much to manage as I used to, and I feel so free. On the other hand, he's constantly asking me what's wrong. He's constantly checking in with me, and he's doing all the things I would usually beg for him. He's being more physically intimate, although I'm the one rejecting now. He's asked on multiple occasions if I've fallen out of love with him. He's even tried to apologize for the way he's acted in the past, telling me he knows he took me for granted, even trying to give me the support that I needed the first initial base I begged for it. I'll have you glad to hear, or maybe not, that I'm absolutely not reciprocating or forgiving this so easily. I have no intentions on stopping. I don't even know if I ever want to. I feel so happy, like a weight of been lifted off my shoulders. I don't care if it makes me a bad person. I like how I like that he is now feeling and carrying the weight that I carried for so long. Well, yeah, if you treat somebody like a child, what did you think was going to happen? Stop treating people like children. You sound annoying as heck, honestly. And as many of you have suggested, a deep conversation is needed. Most of you have suggested couples therapy, which I will not be initiating. Okay, now you're just being a witch. I'm no longer putting the work into the relationship. For this to work, will all be on him completely if he wants to. See, that's not right either. I will update how the conversation goes, although I know very well it will not be taken seriously and it will get shut down immediately. Yeah, because you know everything. Divorce is absolutely on my mind and something I currently want. I'm stay-at-home mom, so it's a long, hard process. Lastly, thank you for all the love and support this difficult time. It sucks that I find strangers on the internet, not the person I married, but truly I express my gratitude. As soon as you stopped nagging, he stepped up and now you want to divorce him. You're so weird. Mango Boy says, I've stopped nagging, but it feels more like I've checked out. Yep. We found Wonderland says, yeah, she's emotionally gone. Piggy Wiggin says, I agree. It seems she's emotionally checked out. It's the beginning. The body is the last to leave. Kind ad says, and this, my friends, is what people talk about when they say that women have a 2 year road to divorce. It starts right here. The irony is a lot of guys see their wives get to this stage and they feel better about the marriage because the arguing has stopped. But they're wrong. The arguments were her fighting for the marriage. The argument stopped and the husband hasn't changed a thing. They're winged. But he did. Artist Boy says, my relationship with my partner was similar, but not to that extent. They didn't reciprocate ever, but I was still miserable because it was just a mismatch of how we did relationships. After breaking up, I feel better. I still miss them. It's easier. not to have to be beg to be loved. Stop begging. Next is what do I do? And it is entitled "My boyfriend made my pick unplayable." Pick. So I'm honestly very pissed. This started over 3 weeks ago when my boyfriend was at my place. He insisted to do some updates and change to my PC. Oh, it's a PC, not a pick. You said pick. So my gaming experience would be better. I refused since it already worked well. So I didn't see the point of it, and he kept pushing. So I allowed him to do whatever he thought it was needed. He works with he works in IT, so I put my trust in him. Well, that was your first mistake because just because he works in IT doesn't mean that he knows about your computer. I was there to see exactly what he did, and he turned it off and went home. The next day, on my PC and I join a comp game, and my game crashes. This has never happened to me before. I'm gonna go get something to drink. Sorry. I know it's in the middle of the thing. I should have done it a minute ago. Actually, I'm surprised I lasted that long. Oh, hi, I'm back. Okay. This has never happened to me before, so I try again with unranked and it crashes. I call him and he immediately tries to convince me that my Wi-Fi is bad, although I haven't had any issues with it for 2 years. I figure out that it must be something he did. Anyways, I managed to get into another game and my stream is freezing constantly. He tried fixing it by FaceTiming me and telling me what to do, but nothing helped. After that, he ignored the situation totally, and weeks went by without any resolution. I basically can't play anything except Blonde's TD FFS, and now I'm just pissed at him. So take it somewhere and get it fixed and then bill him. Mysterious Curves is a top rated comment. Says it's going to be very hard to tell what to do to fix the issue without knowing what he altered. OP says I asked him and he strictly says that he only updated NVIDIA app, but that can't be it. I tried to change all the high graph setting and nothing. He can't even get his butt up and come up here to help me. Bioshock says, if fixing this causes you even $1, you should need to bill him for it. I would dump him too while I'm at it, but that's just me. She says she's not speaking to him and hung up after he tried to put blame on anything else except him and his crappy work. Ooh. Key Dragon Fruit says, it's just me, but do you have any trust issues in your relationship? My ex put spyware on my computer and used to spy on me. Something that could slow you down if so. She says now she's freaked out. She has a password. He knows the phone password. She says she does leave it unattended, but how can she tell if there's spyware? Well, if that's it, then you need to sue him for invasion of privacy. Movie fan says take your PC to a PC repair store and get it fixed professionally. Password protect your PC and do not tell boyfriend the password. She's going to give him till tomorrow to do that. Virtue says, I guarantee he tried to overclock it. Oh, that makes sense. That makes sense. Another Rare Pizza says he overclocked your PC and likely the graphics card if it's just happening when running games. Open the NVIDIA app, look for overclocking settings, and reset them. You can also uninstall and reinstall the app. If he did the BIOS overclocking, open your BIOS and reset all the settings to factory settings. Don't trust him with your PC again, and if he wants to do something with it, he needs to give you a breakdown of what he did. This is from Entitled Parents, and it's entitled, My Mom Showed Up to My University Dorm Unannounced with a list of things she wanted me to change about my room and my life. Weird. Sounds like something an intrusive parent would do. I'm 21 and I've been living in student housing for about 2 years now. So you're fully an adult. My mom has always been the type who thinks that paying for part of my tuition gives her ongoing vetoing rights in every decision I make. But this last Saturday took it to a completely new level. I had not invited her. I had not mentioned she should come. I was literally in my pajamas at noon on Saturday eating cereal and watching something on my laptop when she knocked on my door. Well, that's better than what happened to me. She had driven 2 hours. She came inside, looked around for approximately 4 seconds, and then pulled out her phone where she had a notes app list, an actually typed out list of things she wanted to discuss. The list included what I should switch my minor because she's been reaching job prospects, and that my roommate and I should rearrange the furniture because the current layout was giving her anxiety. Oh, has she been sleeping okay? Has she been sleeping okay, LP? Or does she have a brain tumor? That I was wearing too much black based on my Instagram, and that I needed to call her every single day instead of a few times a week because she doesn't feel connected. How bored is your mom? She needs a hobby. Maybe she should maybe she should start a YouTube channel. I just stood there with holding my cereal and told her when I told her she couldn't just show up unannounced, she says, "I'm your mother. I don't need an announcement." Yikes. I asked her to please leave and come back, and when we had an actual plan to meet, and she cried in the hallway for 20 minutes and texted my aunt that I had thrown her out. I feel guilty even though I knew logically I shouldn't, and this is the most infuriating part of all this, honestly. Has anyone else dealt with a parent who genuinely can't see the difference between caring about you and just controlling you? Of course, all kinds of people know that. It is not uncommon. Meg Votis says, this is a completely new behavior. Is this a recent pattern? If it's a pattern, it sounds like she's excessively controlling. If it's new, then she could still be controlling, but it could also do something else. Is she now an empty nester or possibly suffering from some kind of anxiety? Well, P says definitely a pattern. She's always treated helping as a vote in my life, but the dorm pop in plus bullet list with a new level. It could be anxiety, but she turns it into control, not conversation. So she's trying to control things that she thinks she can control because she doesn't feel in control of her own life, which is sad. She needs to see a therapist because it's affecting other people's lives as well. If it's just your own life, you can deal with that. Me, but not me too, answers mom. In response to your last invasion, I will call it most once a week. You will be blocked on Instagram and Facebook. I will not let you in if you show up unannounced. If you spam my voicemail and or text messages, you will be muted and I will respond at my convenience. But she spelled convenience wrong, so Karma Mom says convene connivence. The secret allowance of something immoral, improper, or illegal to happen. I guess that's appropriate. Me, but not me too, says r/humor by spell checker. Um, Aguda Gumboot says disappointing click, and me too, but not me, but not me too. Says r/subs I fell for legit. r/subs I wish I fell for is also legit. Oh. Oh no, this is from Oh no, Consequences. Titled OP insults her daughter as a joke. I can't understand the consequence of comparing her children for years. And this is they got it off of Boru 4 years ago. It was originally posted to Am I the A-hole? AITA for pointing out that my son is smarter than his sister. It was the original title. This is a while ago. My daughter is still mad at me, so I need to know if I did something wrong. English is not my first language. I have two kids, Daisy, female 18, and Luke, male and 20. Both my kids are very smart growing up, and it was like competition for them. Each of them would try to show they are smarter, and they would compete in everything. When Luke graduated high school, he got accepted at a very good college. 2 years later, Daisy applied to colleges, and she got accepted to a very good college. But her college wasn't as good as Luke, so I jokingly said, "See, now I know for a fact that Luke is smarter." Well, that's not very nice, OP. That's BS. Red flags for mom. She's not nice. She's not a nice person. Not a good mom. It's not funny. But she suddenly got very angry and started yelling at me and even blamed me for not getting accepted to a better college. Typical teenage behavior. It was just a joke. It was just a joke. Well, it wasn't funny, was it? Therefore, not a joke. It's just an insult. That's an insult, not a joke. I didn't think she would get so angry. Both colleges are very good and we are so proud of them. Yeah, sure you are. Prove it to me. But she's barely talking to me now. Don't blame her. I don't blame her one bit. Relevant comment. My daughter blames OOP. We couldn't get her mentors like we did for Luke. Well, that's not fair. But she was doing fine without it, so we didn't think it was necessary. I didn't insult them. Yes, you did. I only compared them because it motivated. What is going on?